I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Government uses Sedition Act only for situations involving ruler's position. And China's Gili to invest $10 billion in Tanjung Malim automotive hub. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria have conveyed Ma'al Hijrah greetings in conjunction with the 1st of Muharram of the Islamic New Year on Wednesday. The King and Queen extended their greetings through Istana Negara's social media post late Tuesday. The national level Ma'al Hijrah 1445 Hijrah celebration will take place at the Kuala Lumpur World Trade Center on Wednesday. The theme for this year's Ma'al Hijrah celebration is Perpaduan Teras Malaysia Madani. Also in conjunction with the celebration, the Prime Minister called all quarters to be determined to undergo a genuine migration in anticipation of the Ma'al Hijrah. In a post on his social media, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim also pointed out that the historical migration of Prophet Muhammad, who established the city of Medina, laying the foundation for an Islamic governance system with teachings and understandings of ethics, values and principles. He further emphasized that it is essential to preserve this blessed land from divisive elements of racialism. Caretaker Kedah Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor was charged at the Selayang Sessions Court on Tuesday with 2 counts of uttering seditious words that could incite disloyalty towards the rulers. The 48-year-old Perikatan National Election Director claimed trial after the charges were read out against him before Judge Nur Raji Ahmad Zain. The incumbent January Assemblyman was alleged to have uttered seditious words regarding the appointment of the Selangor Menteri Besar during a political talk last week. The offence was allegedly committed at Simpang 4, Taman Selayang Mutiara, Kampung Bendahara Gombak on July 11th. He was also charged before Judge Osman Effendi in another court with making the same offence when he allegedly uttered seditious remarks questioning the King's decree on the establishment of the unity government. The charges under the Sedition Act provide a maximum fine of 5,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 3 years or both upon conviction. The court set bail at 5,000 ringgit for each charge and fixed October 4th for mention. The court also issued a gag order preventing Datuk Seri Sanusi from issuing any statements regarding the case. Earlier, Datuk Seri Sanusi was arrested by police at a hotel in Kuala Lumpur at 3 a.m. on Tuesday. A video of the arrest was shared on social media by his aide, Helmi Khalid. The caretaker Kedah Menteri Besar was then taken in a multi-purpose vehicle to the Gombak District Police Headquarters for investigation under the Sedition Act. He arrived at the Selayang Sessions Court at 8:57 a.m. to face charges for allegedly touching on the 3R issues during a political talk last week. Meanwhile, speaking to reporters outside the court, Datuk Seri Sanusi accused the government of stifling free speech.
Nampaknya di Malaysia ni tak boleh cakap apa tuan-tuan. Dia guna polis untuk tahan ataupun sekat ucapan-ucapan kita.
He also claimed that the investigation into his case was rushed as it took only 3 days. He also said he only found out that he would be charged through the media, adding that he was arrested early on Tuesday morning despite stating that he would present himself in court. In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police clarified that Datuk Seri Sanusi was arrested after he ignored the calls made by police. Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said that numerous calls were made to the PN Election Director and his political secretary, but all calls were rejected. Speaking at a media conference at Bukit Aman, Tan Sri Razaruddin said police officers from the Kedah State contingent were also unable to locate Datuk Seri Sanusi on Monday night after they were informed of the Attorney General's Chamber's plan to charge him with alleged sedition.
Jadi sebenarnya kalau seizable offence ni, kalau tanya saya lah, bila-bila kita nak tangkap pun tak apa. Bila-bila kita nak tangkap boleh. Dia seizable offence. Tetapi kita ada pertimbangan kita bila kita rasa mungkin Yang Amat Berhormat Menteri Besar Kedah ni takut dia tak hadir hari ini, itu yang kita ambil.
The country's top cop also said a total of 58 police reports, including one by the Selangor Council of the Royal Court, were lodged against Datuk Seri Sanusi. In another development, he pointed out that the investigations into cases of 3R issues involving DAP Chairman Lim Guan Eng and past President have reached 70% completion and were submitted to the Attorney General's chambers on Monday. In a related matter, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the government would avoid using the Sedition Act 1948 except for situations when it involves the ruler's position. The Prime Minister stated the act would not be used when it is about criticism against the Prime Minister.
Saya dari segi dasarnya kita elak dari penggunaan Akta Sultan. Tapi yang ini bila menyentuh soal kritik Perdana Menteri, saya tak pernah gunakan itu sebagai satu alasan. Tapi ini soal kedudukan dan martabat raja-raja yang harus kita pelihara dan sanjung dan elak daripada menjadi suatu wacana perbahasan politik yang tidak sihat.
Datuk Sri Anwar said this to the media when asked about the disputed use of the colonial-era law that was used to charge Datuk Sri Sanusi in court on Tuesday. He also denied that the charges against the incumbent Jeneri Assemblyman were related to the upcoming state elections in 6 states on August 12th, including Kedah.
Tapi kita tengok siapa yang buat laporan. Dewan Diraja Selangor. Itu kita kena tengok. Kemudian apa komen Kebawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sultan Selangor semalam. Kes tak selesai. Jadi saya ingat ikut proses itu.
University Science Malaysia USM socio-political analyst Professor Dr. Sivamurugan Pandian emphasised the need for balanced discussions and cautious approach in addressing religion, race and royalty in political campaigns.
Article 10 in the Constitution clearly indicates that there is a freedom of speech. You can say anything you want, but we can only do it without threatening the society or create or cause public disorder, including when it comes to the 3R issues related to religion, race and royalty. In fact, the freedom of speech is well protected under the Constitution, but to what extent we respect, we know that it comes with responsibility, and also we must understand that in a multi-ethnic society, what encompasses the society includes differences in religion, in the national language, in the special interests of the Bumiputra, and also we should not forget it involves the institution of the rulers. These are the things that I think we need to address cautiously, and also to make sure that the sensitivity of those issues are not touched in political interests of certain quarters or any personalities.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has opened an investigation paper in connection with allegations of power abuse involving a Menteri Besar. The graft buster has not named the Menteri Besar in question, but revealed that the investigation was being carried out over the issue of illegal mining of rare earth elements, resulting in losses for a state government. In January, the Kedah UMNO also called on the Anti-Graft Agency to investigate and reveal whether there was political intervention in the issue of stolen rare earth elements, which resulted in huge losses to the country. Recently, several individuals have come forward and lodged official reports to the MACC to investigate the issue of abuse of power and corruption involving a Menteri Besar. This was following a viral letter on the application of foreign worker quota to the Home Ministry for a so-called joint project between a state government, a local company and a company from China. Sources said the MACC had started an investigation on the illegal rare earth element mining issue early this year and have called up several witnesses, but the progress on the investigation could not be ascertained. Meanwhile, MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner of Operations Datuk Sri Ahmad Kusairi Yahya, when contacted, confirmed that several investigation papers have been opened under the Anti-Corruption Commission Act, including the investigation paper opened in March. However, he refused to elaborate when asked whether the MACC would be calling up the Menteri Besar concerned soon.
Ketua Bahagian Penguat Kuasa Jabatan Agama Islam Pahang Jaib mati terkena digedas tembakan. Seorang lelaki keluar lalu melepaskan tembakan.
Tuan Harun direman selama seminggu bagi membantu siasatan.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
automobile manufacturer Gili will invest $10 billion to turn Tanjung Malim, Perak into the region's largest auto city. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the aspiration, conveyed by the company in a letter to him on Monday night, would create thousands of job opportunities for Malaysians.
Gili ini yang buat dengan proton. Dia tulis saya 10 halaman muka surat panjang. Bagi tahu dia nak teruskan, nak jadikan Tanjung Malim sebagai kota automobil, kereta yang terbesar di rantau ini. Dan dia akan mula dengan $10 bilion, maknanya 40 bilion ringgit.
Datuk Seri Anwar announced this during his speech at the Selangor state-level Sentuhan Agro Madani program in Sekinchan, Selangor. He stressed that the confidence shown by Gili will be able to ensure growth of the economy, aside from creating thousands of job opportunities for Malaysians. In addition to the investment by Gili, Datuk Seri Anwar added that Saudi Arabian public petroleum and natural gas company Saudi Aramco was also interested in focusing on its investment and operational expansion in Malaysia.
Amin Nasir, pengurusi eksekutif dia, jumpa saya, dia kata, Anwar, dan Rais Wizara dan Menteri, saya nak maklumkan Aramco sekarang senang dengan dasar kerajaan dan pimpinan kerajaan, dan kami dapat keputusan untuk menjadikan Malaysia ini hub pusat perkembangan minyak dan gas oleh Arab Saudi di Asia Tenggara.
Datuk Seri Anwar noted that Malaysia has recorded commendable economic performance with a 5.6% growth in the first quarter of 2023, which compared favourably against China, Singapore and Indonesia. He also said the country successfully attracted some 71 billion ringgit worth of approved investments in the first 3 months of this year, contributed partly by the political stability in the country. At the same event, Datuk Seri Anwar also announced that Pakatan Harapan has nominated Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syari to be retained as Selangor Menteri Besar should it win in the upcoming state polls. This is due to the state's strong track record of attracting investments under Datuk Seri Amiruddin.
Ekonomi kita suku tahu pertama dan Selangor nombor 1. Sebab itu kita cadang untuk kekalkan Amiruddin sebagai Menteri Besar. Ya, ini kali pertama saya umum rasmi ni. Dia betul terkejut tadi. Sebab pertumbuhan ekonomi baik. Berapa suku tahu pertama tahun ini? 5.6%. Ini paling tinggi banding dengan China, Singapura, Indonesia. Kita lebih tinggi.
Datuk Seri Amiruddin was sworn in as the 16th Selangor Menteri Besar at Istana Alam Shah on June 19th, 2018. He was 38 when he took the oath of office before the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah.
Terima kasih atas cadangan daripada Perdana Menteri, namun kita harus membuktikan dengan kemenangan dalam pilihan raya dan ini harus dilaksanakan dengan bersungguh-sungguh. Tapi ini saya percaya akan dapat konsensus daripada pimpinan-pimpinan.
The Election Commission EC has set the polling for the Kuala Terengganu parliamentary by-election to be held simultaneously with the 6 state polls on August 12th. Its chairman, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh, said the nomination and early voting will also run simultaneously, with nomination day on July 29th and early voting on August 8th. Speaking at a media conference after chairing the EC special meeting in Putrajaya, Tan Sri Ghani said the electoral roll to be used for the by-election has a total of 123,575 voters, comprising 122,160 ordinary voters, 35 military personnel and their spouses, 1,362 police personnel and 18 overseas absentee voters. He said the nomination centre for the Kuala Terengganu by-election would be the banquet hall Kuala Terengganu City Council Tower, while the nomination centre for the state seats of Wakaf Mempelam, Bandar and Batu Buruk would remain as announced. On June 27th, the Terengganu Election Court had nullified the victory of Dato' Ahmad Amzad Hashim of PAS in Kuala Terengganu during the 15th general election on November 19th last year. This was after the court found that the petitioner, Dato' Muhammad Zubir Embong of Barisan Nasional, had succeeded in proving that corruption had taken place with the aim of influencing voters in the election for the seat. When we return, Thai PM hopeful, willing to slow pace of reform agenda. Don't go away. Back on Nightline, onto the foreign front, Thailand's prime ministerial candidate Pita Limjaroenrat on Tuesday said he was willing to slow the pace of his party's ambitious reform agenda if he forms a government, but would not retreat from its plan to amend a law prohibiting royal insults. The reform agenda of Pita's Move Forward party is controversial, taking on issues long seen as untouchable in Thailand, including its boldest aim to change Article 112 of the Criminal Code, under which hundreds of people have been charged with insulting the monarchy, that carries jail terms of up to 15 years. However, Pita said the decision on 112 was ultimately one for the parliament to decide, but his party would not back away from its reform agenda just to seek smooth passage to office. He added that amending the article was not a threat to the palace, but would ensure the monarchy was not politicised and that the law should not be misused. The 42-year-old will contest a parliamentary vote on the premiership on Wednesday for the second time, after failing last week to win the required backing of more than half of the legislature as the Conservative military-appointed Senate closed ranks to deny him the top job. Crisis hit Chinese property giant Evergrande has revealed that it lost a combined of $81 billion in 2021 and 2022. The firm, which defaulted on its debts in late 2021, reported its long overdue earnings to investors in Hong Kong. According to Evergrande, the losses were due to a number of reasons, including the falling value of properties and other assets, as well as higher borrowing costs. Its financial problems have since rippled through the country's property industry, with a series of other developers defaulting on their debts and leaving unfinished building projects across China. Earlier this year, Evergrande laid out plans to restructure around $20 billion in overseas debt. The company racked up debts of more than $300 billion as it expanded aggressively to become one of China's biggest companies. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes in southern China as a powerful typhoon made landfall, prompting flood warnings and the cancellation of hundreds of flights and trains. According to China Meteorological Administration, Typhoon Talum, the fourth typhoon of the year, roared ashore on the coast of Guangdong province at approximately 10:20 p.m. local time late Monday, bearing maximum winds of 136.8 kilometers per hour. An orange weather alert, the second highest warning in a 4-tier color-coded system, was issued, and nearly 230,000 people in the province were evacuated to safety as of 5 p.m. local time on Monday. Talum then landed in the coastal area of South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region early Tuesday, with the gust speeds reaching as high as 119 kilometers per hour. The typhoon landed at 5:45 a.m. local time in the city of Beihai in Guangxi and reached the city of Qinzhou about 3 hours later. Beihai has ordered school, production and market suspension, and Fangchenggang required construction sites, shopping centres, entertainment venues, restaurants and farmers markets to halt operations on Tuesday. Former Harimau Malaya coach passes away. Stay with us. Former Harimau Malaya coach B. Satyanand died on Tuesday after almost a year-long battle with cancer. He was 65. The news was confirmed by the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, Media, Communications and Public Relations Committee Chairman Christopher Raj, who said Satyanand died at 1:25 p.m. at the University Malaya Medical Centre. Satyanand has been fighting cancer for almost a year and has been hospitalized for the past 2 to 3 months. Satyanand began his coaching career in 1992 with Negeri Sembilan, but is known for his role as the assistant to Claude Leroy to guide host Malaysia at the World Youth Championships in 1997. He had also coached the national under-23 squad, which he guided to the 2007 Merdeka tournament victory. He also coached Harimau Malaya from 2007 to 2009 and had immense success as the coach of several teams in the Premier and Super Leagues. His notable success on the local scene was guiding Kelantan to win the Malaysia Cup in 2010, while he was also at the helm when Armed Forces and Felda United were crowned Premier League champions in 2012 and 2018 respectively. Satyanand's efforts were recognised as he was named Coach of the Year in 2010, 2012 and 2017. His last job as coach was with Sarawak United last year, where he had taken a 4-month break to receive treatment as he was said to be battling with cancer. Now, Australia's Victoria State has withdrawn as host of the 2026 Commonwealth Games because of a massive increase in the projected cost of staging the multi-sports event. Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews on Tuesday said his government last year agreed to host the next edition of the quadrennial event, but not at any cost.
I've made a lot of difficult calls, a lot of very difficult decisions in this job. This is not one of them. Frankly, $6 to $7 billion for a 12-day sporting event, we are not doing that. That does not represent value for money. That is all cost and no benefit.
Andrews added that his government had initially budgeted $1.8 billion to stage the games in 5 regional cities, but recent estimates put the potential cost as high as $4.8 billion. The Games had been scheduled for March 17th to 29th in the regional centres of Geelong, Bendigo, Ballarat, Gippsland and Shepparton in regional Victoria. Man to serve 218 years in jail for rape. Details after this short break.
Memang
Nightline continues. In Johor, a father has been sentenced to 218 years in prison and 75 strokes of the cane after pleading guilty to raping and sexually abusing and impregnating his daughter. The 41-year-old pleaded guilty to 8 charges, with 7 of them involving rape that began when his daughter was 12 years old. According to the facts of the case, the accused began assaulting his daughter in 2020 when she was just 12 years old. The victim, who recently gave birth to a baby boy, revealed in her report that the attacks continued until June 5th this year, even after she had changed the lock on her bedroom door. The incident came to light during a health examination at school, where physical changes in her body were noticed, before she proceeded to lodge a police report. The rape charges were brought under the Penal Code, while the sexual abuse charge was framed under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act. The court ordered the sentences for the 7 rape charges to run concurrently. In Malacca, a 14-year-old boy was charged with murder in the Ayer Keroh Magistrates Court on Tuesday after his 9-year-old brother was allegedly choked to death at their home in Kampung Bukit Piatu earlier this month. However, no plea was recorded from the juvenile. The accused, dressed in a blue t-shirt and track bottoms, simply lowered his head as the charges were read out in front of Magistrate Sharda Shinha Muhammad Sulaiman in the presence of his parents. According to the charges, he is accused of causing the death of his younger sibling at a house at Jalan Bukit Piatu, Kampung Bukit Piatu, on July 5th between 11:30 a.m. and 12:35 p.m. He is charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries the death penalty if convicted. The court ordered the accused to undergo a mental examination at Permai Hospital in Johor Bahru, Johor. The case is scheduled for a further mention on August 22nd. 2 company directors were detained by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC for allegedly submitting false information regarding a cigarette box design project worth over 1.2 million ringgit in 2019, which was never implemented. They were detained after providing statements at the MACC office in Pulau Pinang at about 6 p.m. on Monday. The directors, both in their 40s, work for different companies, one in a cigarette manufacturing company and the other in a health-based company. Following the arrest, they were brought to the Georgetown Magistrates Court and remanded on Tuesday. Magistrate Muhammad Azlan Basri approved the 3-day remand for both suspects beginning Monday until July 20th. The case is being investigated under the MACC Act. On Tuesday, graced the 2023 Latihan Kuasa Tembakan LKT training at the Lapang Sasar Asahan site Sirajuddin camp in Gemas. A total of 40 units involving 2,660 officers and personnel participated in the drill, along with 106 assets and weaponry, which included the PT-91M main battle tank, Lipan Bara, Adnan, as well as Super Lynx helicopters. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thanks for watching and take care.